heard last month you did persona poems, so that personification, like that one. Teachers. What'd you say? So there's been a lot of really great poetry, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and listen to new poems and new poets. It's one of the things that I love about going to open mics and featuring, although I don't feature very often, to be inspired by some of the writing. One of the things that stood out for me was Daisy's line, what was it? I want to make this page bleed so that the world doesn't bruise me. Like, that was brilliant, brilliant, brilliant line of poetry. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you for opening up with your poems. And oftentimes we express poems about the ways that we're hurt, right? We heard a lot of that tonight, which I think we need. Poetry is a way to heal from some of the things that we experience, but it becomes more difficult when you put yourself on the other side of that and try to write poems that express I'm sorry, for hurting somebody. So this is a poem that I wrote to try to do that. It isn't about anybody in particular, although some people would beg to differ. And we'll just leave that for a side conversation outside. But this is called Postcard. It's also actually a part of a project that I'm working on with a photographer. I read a poem, she takes a photo that expresses that poem, and then I read a poem based on that photo. So it's a really cool idea, and I think it's coming along rather well. And one of these days we're going to do a gallery show with the photos and the poems, and then I'll be reading, and then there'll be coffee, like here. And I'll be awkward in front of people right now. That's why I love this thing, because you don't get to see what's happening. All right, enough joking. It's called Postcard. I don't know if these words will ever find you, if their fingers will ever weave themselves around yours, their shapes still burned into my pillow. I can feel them caressing me soft like morning. I'm not having trouble sleeping just yet. I've always had a tendency to keep my words close and selective like friends. Buried in my notebook, I've always been more honest, more heartfelt when my morning coffee coaxes me to do so. I always write in the morning and alone, because my honesty doesn't exist until someone hears it, and I get to choose which apologies will actually reach the ears of those scars I've created. 2. I bought you a postcard 6 months ago. Penciled in your address on the right side. 5 weeks later. Called twice in between the two, but couldn't bring myself to leave a message. The 27th says stamp, hovers against a photo-covered corkboard above my desk. Thumbtacked against what used to be your favorite picture of us. I chose that postcard specifically, hoping your taste in art hasn't changed like your taste for me, for my attention, for the weight of my arms resting around your waist. I chose that one for a reason. Colors splash bold across the print like your desire for honesty, hoping that your memories of me, loving and good, listening and passionate, lively and caring, would be resurrected like artists dead before famous. 3. I don't want to be forgotten because of the mistakes I've made with us. But I don't want to be remembered for what I couldn't do. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe I'm getting caught up in looking for the right configuration of words. Maybe it's just that I don't mean it yet. But maybe I'm sorry has yet to fit in the blank space on that postcard, still tucked awkwardly in my journal, somewhere in between the first stanza I wrote for you and the last attempted apology crumbling under the weight of its hasty construction. 4. From destruction comes creation. But I don't know if I've left you enough to build from, because a semblance of an apology is just that, close to, almost, but not quite. And although on paper, it may look and feel like one with its words crafted carefully and cautiously, trying to smooth over the jagged edges of our best moments together, but it's only because I've had practice, and not because it feels right. You say that I'll know it. You say that I'll know it when it's right. When those words, tangled around my throat, will carry with them the weight of sincerity to your nicked heart. Maybe I should carve "I'm sorry" into my wrist so that I could caress its raised scars like Braille. Maybe then I'll know what it's supposed to feel like. Maybe then I'll know that it wasn't words you've been waiting for, but rather this postcard with nothing written but your address. No greeting, no poem, no apology, just a blank postcard. Maybe this is the space you've been asking for.